What's up, everyone? Criddle here, and I want to talk about some of the most asked questions for returning and brand new players in New World. I had played 800 plus hours previously in the game. I'm now a returning player. I've put about 100 hours into the game since returning, and there's been a lot of questions that I had. A lot of people that come in into the stream, they ask, or I just see them in chat and they're asking, like, oh my goodness. And it's usually the same few questions over and over and over. So I want to go over some of those very quickly to hopefully help you get started with the game if you're just coming back. So first and foremost is how to level up to 65. The fastest way to level up to 65. That is asked so often, it's kind of ridiculous. The fastest way to level up to 65 is doing the main story quest. You know it's a main story quest because it's going to have the icon for the main story quest. If you go here to your journal, you can click on main story. This is obviously an expedition. This is a high level thing, so I would ignore this one in particular. But as you're going through the main story quest, you're looking for this symbol right here that's got like the two little axes or hammers or whatever in that diamond shape. Do these quests. It'll take you all the way through to level 65 the fastest possible way. You can see right here, you get 14,000 XP for doing this one quest. So it levels you up very quickly. They increase the XP rewards. Plus, you're going to get a lot of gold that way, which I'll talk about how to get gold here in a minute. Next main question that is asked, or big question that is asked, is how do you get your mount? So mount, you're going to get around level 25 as you go through the story, the main story. It'll eventually get you there. So you're going to start somewhere down here in this area, depending on where you randomly start. But once you're level 25, you're going to end up here in Everfall. And then right about here, there's going to be a quest that's going to pop up that allows you to do your mount quest. What it actually looks like is this over here, because I haven't done it myself. Let's see, where's it at? Up right here. This is what the actual mount quest looks like. So a little horseshoe looking thing. So you'll see one of those pop up right here, right about here where this horse is in Everfall. That's where you're going to get your first horse quest. You're going to be able to get on a horse first, and then it's going to be able to get your wolf and your bear and all that kind of stuff later. But for the beginning, you're going to get a horse, and then you're going to be able to do these circuits. So it's a quest line that you do. And it's like 5 different racing circuits. When you do those racing circuits, it'll level up your mount, and then it'll unlock the next tier, and your horse will go, or your mount will go a little bit faster each time you do one. So that's where you get those from, and that's where that starts. Next up, what to do at level 65. There's a lot of things you can possibly do at level 65, but usually when people ask, what do I do at level 65, they're talking about how do they get their gear up, and then how do you make money, which is going to be the next question. So we're going to kind of answer both of those in one question. So what to do at level 65 and how to make some money at level 65. So first, at level 65, you're going to start seeing a lot of people say these things. You can see right here in chat, right above my head, X Merc. That is one of the things that you want to do every single day if you can. So X Merc is doing this up here. X Merc means invite me for the Merc thing, which is going to be all the way up here, and you're going to basically fast travel up here, and everybody's just going to run through and get all of the different chests in this area, and that's going to give you a lot of gear up to item level 700 gear. Another one that to do is called XCK, which is the way down here in Cutlass Keys. They're going to have you go right here to the Admiral Shrine, so make sure that you're getting this fast travel point by the time you're level 65, or right when you hit level 65. And if you see XCK in chat, join that. Do this at least once per day. I say once per day because the elite chests are what you're going after, and they have a 24-hour respawn. The other large chests have an 8-hour respawn. The smaller chests have a 2-hour respawn. So you can do this multiple times a day if you want to, but doing it once per day for those elite chests is definitely a way to go. Another one is called X-Wall. X-Wall is way the heck up here somewhere. It's not that one. It's the giant wall thing, wherever the heck it is. I always lose it. But anyway, when you join, you'll see where people are on the map. You'll see your entire raid. It'll be like these little gray squares or diamonds. Join those. Sometimes people call it X World Tour, or something along those lines, something tour, which means that they're going to hit all of those back to back to back. So you could join one of those per day and just hit every single one of them. So that's what you want to do to start gearing up and getting your gear up to 650, 675, somewhere in that range, and potentially getting up to the 700 gear score that you want to go for. We'll talk about higher gear score here in a second because that's another big question. But you're trying to get as close to 700 gear score as you can with the correct perks. So doing those things really helps out. So anytime you see an X in chat followed by something, XMerc, XCK, XWall, you probably want to join in on those things. There's another one called the Life Ring. That one's more, in my opinion, for XP, weapon XP, but you're going to get plenty of that going in to do these other things. I don't think the Life Ring is really worth it as far as getting gear, but you could do that as well if you want to. Part of that, though, is going to be making money. So how do you make money at level 65? And other things that you can do is activities. So you come here to the map, you go over here to activities, and you can see all these different activities that you can do. One of the things that I do recommend for new-ish players is to do the soul. Is it these? Yes. So doing these right here is a great way to start getting gear. You can see that these go up 650 gear. They go up to actually, I think 675 is where they cap. Also, this is the only way to get artifacts. I'm going to talk about those in a second, how to get certain artifacts. This is the only way to get this particular artifact that I know of. But anyway, this is a great way that you can be a solo player and get gear from 650 up to 675, which will really help you gear up a little bit faster when you are a fresh level 65. And then you want to start doing more and more of these expeditions and raids. You'll get into this kind of stuff later on, but specifically these expeditions are for the money side of things. So part of getting to level 65, you want to start making more money. You want to do these daily missions 3 times per day. The reason for that is you get this right here, this expedition bonus cash. If you clear it, you have to do a random mission, and it's going to pick any of the random missions that you have unlocked. One of the tricks is once you unlock Am-Rine Dungeon, you can do this one very, very fast at a very low level. So you can actually equip some low-level gear on, and it'll give you, if you just have like between 200 and 299 gear score, and you're over level 25, you're guaranteed to get Am-Rine Dungeon. You click on random, and then you click on your damage or tank or healer. I'll talk about these two in just a second. You click on that damage, and you say confirm, and it'll put you into the queue for a random dungeon. It could take anywhere from 5 to 10, maybe 20 minutes to get into a dungeon, but you could be doing a bunch of other things like random quests. I do recommend doing the side quests, which are these symbols right here. I recommend doing those no matter where they are on the map. They can give you anywhere from 100 to like 300 gold per quest, and they take literally, a couple minutes each. A great way to get money in the game if you haven't finished all of those. Now, going back to the activity of the expedition, if you have the ability to play as a tank or a healer, you can get an additional roll bonus. You don't see it right here because I've already done mine for the day. But if you have the ability to do one of these, do that, especially for Am-Rine Dungeon, and you can get an extra 250 gold per one of these. So you can get 1,000 gold 3 times a day just by doing these expeditions. It's a great way to get some money. And like I said, if you don't have a great gear score, just lower your gear score down to 300 or 299 or less, queue for the dungeon, and then re-equip all your best gear in the game, and it'll make these extremely, extremely easy. Most likely you're going to get in with a group of people anyway that's also doing the random quest. That's going to make it really easy anyway. I do recommend, however, doing all of these dungeons. So if you can, I just at this point queue up for a random dungeon. I do this 3 times a day. I queue up as a healer or a tank usually, and then I hit confirm, and it just throws me into a dungeon, random one. You want to do all of the dungeons. The reason for that is because you want to be able to unlock these random mutations. The mutation dungeons. So M1, M2, and 3, etc. You can do these so many times per day for daily bonuses. And then you can do these dungeons up to 35 times a day to get bonus gear. Now, this gear only shows that it has 626 gear score. It actually can go up much higher than that. In fact, this Glacial Tarn down here can go up to 725 gear score. So it's worth doing these once you understand the dungeon mechanics. So go through, you have to do the dungeons at least one time though on normal version to be able to unlock those mutated versions. So I would just randomly do these every single day. You're going to get gold for it. You're going to get some gear for it. And then you're also going to get these other components, which I don't know if I have to show you right now. Let me see if I go into my inventory. Yeah, well, these are basically them right here. You're going to get these. There's a blue version of them too from the lower level dungeon, and then the higher level dungeon has a red version of them. You could use these to level up a lot of your crafting stuff. So basically you're going to get, 1,000 of these per dungeon run that you do. And then you take those and you can craft one piece of gear with it or something. And it's free XP that you're going to get for your crafting. All right. So I think we've gone over level 65, what to do for the quick. This is basics, what to do. Okay. There's a lot more you can do. How to make money, leveling harvesting skills. So a lot of people have complained, like, how do I keep up with my harvesting skill? I don't find enough nodes as I'm running between quests to keep up with it. So what people don't realize is once you get your faction, again, you want to come over here and you can spend your faction tokens on these things right down here. So you have these minor mastery caches for the different harvesting. You can buy these once per day, and there's one at Adept. There's one at Scrivener, I believe. Yeah, Scrivener. There's another one down here at whatever tier 3 is. Trying to go through these. And then there's another one down here at tier 5. Yeah, tier 5, you can get even more. And I haven't even unlocked those yet. But that is a great way to keep up with those. And then you have even more down here. So once you get to that point, now they are rather expensive. These ones down here are very, very expensive at 5,000 gold and 4,700 for these caches for the skinning materials. I don't recommend getting those necessarily, but getting some of these cheaper ones at the top can be a great way to keep up with your harvesting. I actually buy these first couple ones every single day because they're fairly cheap. They're, only a gold something, and, it adds up if you buy these every day. The items that I'm specifically talking about, if we go here into my inventory, you'll get things like this abnormal pollen right here once you open up the chest. So you'll buy the chest from the faction person, open it up, and then you'll get these kind of items. You take this to a loom, for example, and it gives you harvesting XP. You take this strange ore to a smelter, and it gives you mining XP. This pearl is to a kitchen, and it gives you fishing XP. Things like that. So you're going to get these items, take them over there. You could just accumulate a few of them, over the course of a couple days and do them all at once, or you could do them every single day, whatever works for you. And it really helps get those harvesting skills up. If you look at my harvesting skills here, I've got my mining, I got everything, fairly high. My logging, I've been very lazy with logging because there's trees everywhere and I just don't want to do it. And then fishing, I don't really do any fishing whatsoever. So basically these two right here, I essentially only leveled through those faction things and a little bit of logging and a little bit of fishing here and there. But these right here, I try to pick up as I go. But again, I supplement that whenever I can with the faction tokens. So that's harvesting. How to get that? What is the highest gear score in the game? That's another very, very big question. The highest gear score you can get to is 725. However, we're going to put a big star next to that. You're not going to really get all of your gear to 725. You might eventually get there, but you don't really want to focus on that. 725 gear, for the most part, you're going to get by upgrading named items. And what I mean by named items are items like, let's see if I have one, this right here. So this is a named item. You can see up there at the very top, it says epic named. This item right here can go up to level 725 for the most part. This is like 99% accurate. There are some weapons and items that you can't do that. If they're given to you via quest, you can't really do much with them. But if they're dropped items that are named, even if they're purple like this, you can upgrade them up to 700 and then again up to 725, and they will gain all those extra perks. And that can be your max level items. Other items are going to be your artifacts like this right here, this Cowl of Power. is another item that is an artifact. It is also considered named. They can be leveled up to 725. So that's how you, or what they can get up to. You don't need to worry about that in the very beginning. Your goal is to try to get to 700 and then work on trying to get higher stuff from there. As you start doing these things, you'll learn how to do all of that. It's going to be through the gypsum kiln and all that kind of stuff, which is a whole other tutorial video that I'll probably make down the line. This is going to be just kind of your basics on what they can do. So for the most part, you're trying to get up to 700, as close as you can to 700. Anything really 675 plus with the right perks is going to be better than a 700 item with not so good perks. So make sure that, you know, you're kind of looking at anything 675 or higher. Look at the perks on it. See if the perks are worth having. If they are, great. If they're not, you can pretty much trash it. So what you want to do with most gear, though, that is not 675 or higher, you're just going to come here and you're going to salvage it and get rid of it. I'm just going to come through here, especially when it's, you know, under level 400 or whatever. If the level on the item, you can see the level of the item right here is level 65. If it's 60 or higher, named, those kind of things, you want to probably keep those, hold on to them until later. But as you're leveling up, the whole leveling process, just use the highest gear that you can find. Trash anything that is under level 60 or 650 gear score or so. You can just kind of get rid of that and trash it. It's not going to really be that helpful. There are a few exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, that's going to be it. Next, what do you do with excess gear? That's another thing that people just ask all the time. What do I do with all this excess gear? I have tons of gear. I don't know what to do with it. Scrap it. Just scrap it. So as you can see there, I was just going and scrapping all that gear. That's going to give you gold down here. It's also going to give you a chance at getting some of these things like these infused armor scraps. You can get weapon scraps, engineering. You can get all these scraps out of it, and then you can use those to level up your trade skills later. So that's what I recommend doing with those. You can also take those and you can break them down for materials. If you're not planning on doing any type of trade skilling, you can just break them down for materials, and then you can sell the materials. Or if you know a trade skiller, ask them to use your materials to craft you something. You can do that as well. So that's what you're going to be doing with all of your excess gear. Next up, doubloons. So this is something that usually people don't realize until they get about level 65, but you might get there, see it before that. It's a PvP thing, sort of. So like I said before, you want to do the CK run every day if you can. And in the CK run, you're going to be getting doubloons. So if I go over here, I'll show you what doubloons look like. Mine are here in Cutlass Keys. And I have these things called Mystic Doubloons. You're going to be getting tons of these if you're doing CK runs, or if you do PvP down in Cutlass Keys, you're going to be getting a ton of doubloons. What you do with doubloons is you can go down here into Cutlass Keys at the main city here, and then there is a well. If I can remember exactly where it is on the map, I can never find it. Basically, when you come in, it's right down here. Where's the well? Anyway, it's over here somewhere. But there's a well in Cutlass Keys. That's where you're going to be spending doubloons. You want to go there every day if you want to, and you can buy these items. I guess while we're talking about it, let's just go down there, and I'll show it to you. So if you go down here, we're going to travel to Cutlass Keys, and you can buy items from or using those doubloons. Some of them are really expensive, up to 6,000 doubloons, but you can get some random rolls every single day with 35 doubloons that really, really can be beneficial to gearing up. So you come here, the well is right over here where all these people are standing. So you come up to the well and open it up. And these are all the things that you can buy. This is like 6,000 doubloons for Ghostly Touch. These are 2 artifacts. I'll go over a little bit more about artifacts in a minute. And then you can also buy these cursed chests. These are all the coconuts. So this is how you can get 725 gear. You can also use those coconuts to upgrade to 725 gear. That's, again, another whole thing. But you want to use doubloons. Like, one of the best things that I can say to buy is this Living Mine. So then you can go do a healer role going into those dungeons, like I was saying, and get your daily dungeons as a healer done. And it's 750 doubloons, and it's honestly one of the best healing life staffs in the game. So get this. It's already 710. Boom, you're good to go for healing basic stuff in the game. All right, and you could be a healer and do a lot of stuff with that. Another thing that you might want to spend doubloons on are these epic stashes right here. So these, you could buy up to 3 of these per day. Specifically this one, the Gold Cursed Epic Crate. I wouldn't buy these right here. You could buy these. It's just going to give you resources. But if you buy this one right here, you could just get resources out of it. But you can also get gear out of this. I've seen up to 700 gear score. I don't know if you can get higher than that. I'm not sure exactly what the gear score is that you get out of these all the time, but you can buy 3 of these per 24 hours, and they cost 35 Mystic Doubloons. And if you're doing that CK run, you're going to have plenty of doubloons to spend. So boom, there you go. That's what you want to do with the doubloons. That's what they're for. And as you get higher in the game, you will be able to use those doubloons for more things. So I just want to go over what doubloons are, where to use them. Artifacts. What are artifacts? So artifacts are unique items in the game, like this right here. This is an artifact that you get through the season quest right now. And then once you get an artifact, you get these quests when you equip it, and you can see what it'll tell you, like, hey, equip this item, and you see these quests. And then when you do those quests, it upgrades your artifact. You can then take the artifact and upgrade it at the kiln, the Gypsum Kiln, up to 725. Now, note that you can only have 3 artifacts equipped at a time: 1 armor, 1 like trinket or necklace, whatever, jewelry, accessory, and 1 weapon. So you can have 3 total artifacts. These are some of the most powerful items in the game in some ways. However, just because it's an artifact doesn't mean there isn't better other gear. So be sure that you're checking the perks on them and see if it works for you. It may be good, it may not be good. So definitely check on that. There are different ways to get the different artifacts in the game. I'm going to show you the one which is doing the Soul Train. This one right here you get from this, specifically doing these missions. You could do these once per day each, and hopefully you get that artifact. It's actually a very good artifact in this case. Another way you can get an artifact is the only other one that I have so far is by doing this Merc, the Merc run. You can go and do the Merc run to get an axe from one of the bosses that or one of the little ring events that you're going to be doing during the Merc run. You have a chance of getting that. You can get artifacts through doing missions. There's an artifact during the main story quest line once you finish that all the way through or near the end of it. There's artifacts all over the place. That's what artifacts are. Just remember, you can only have 3: 1 weapon, 1 armor, and 1 accessory. And those are going to be more build defining things. So you're going to get your artifact, and then you're going to build around that. Say, hey, I want to use this artifact weapon because I really like the way what it does. And then you want to build all of your gear kind of around that to make it work. Next up, Magnify stat. So a lot of people are like, what in the world's a Magnify stat? Let me see if I have something. Well, obviously this has it. So this right here, this particular artifact has Magnify. I think a lot of artifacts have the Magnify stat on it. And that means you can change the stat that you get. So right now mine has plus 32 Magnify, and you can select the attribute. Mine has Strength, so it gives me plus 32 Strength currently. You can actually get Magnify on a lot of other items as well. I don't see it on any of my other items currently, but Magnify basically is a stat that you can set. But you can't set it per piece. You set it in your attributes. To do that, you go here, go over to your character screen, go over here to your attributes, and then Magnify right here. So you can say, I want it to be my highest. So whatever your highest stat is, it will go ahead and magnify that stat, or you can choose what your Magnify stat is going to be at any of the different stats. So let's say you have 4 different Magnify items on, you choose Strength, it's going to make all 4 of those items Strength. If you choose, you know, dexterity, make all of them dexterity. If you choose highest, whatever your current highest is, before the magnify, it will then add that and make that your new highest stat. So I think that's pretty much it. Those are the main questions. The last question I'm going to talk about is kind of more of a joke, but there is a quest called Verdant Restoration Quest. You're going to get this quest. You're going to get there. You're going to see these glyphs, and you're going to be like, what in the world are the glyphs that I have to enter in for this? If you are looking at where you enter the glyphs, turn around 180 degrees and look up a little bit. The glyphs are right there on the wall for you. Or you can just Google Verdant Restoration Quest glyphs and it'll pop up for you. But that's where they are. It took me forever to find that. You literally just turn around 180 degrees and they're, boom, plastered right there on the stone wall in front of you. Anyway, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, subscribe, follow. I do play this game fairly often, pretty much every morning, and I stream it over on Twitch, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions, play with you, all that kind of stuff. We are more of a casual player. I'm a very hardcore casual player. I do things as a casual player. I just do a lot of it. So, you know, it's casually hardcore, I guess, is the best way to explain my stream. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I see you in the next one. Bye!